Maybe we should just do a podcast where we review every Golden Girls episode.
I know, man. I know.
Except for the clip shows.
Yeah.
Thank you for being a friend.
Travel down the road and back again.
You never invited everyone you knew.
Your heart is true.
You're a friend and a confidant?
You're a pal and a confidant.
I was like, I don't know this.
If I threw a party and invited everyone you knew, you would see the biggest gift would be from me, and the card attached would say, thank you for being a friend.
Thank God we're not recording that. Oops.
Oh,
hey, everybody, and welcome to Fallingtower's Watch the First podcast in which we watch the first episode of a series. Bet you can guess which one. And then we talk about it. If you want us to review a show, a good one, a bad one that you created, just let us know in the comments section. Say WTF Robotech or WTF Frasier. That means watch the first Robotech or watch the first Frasier. We're joined by two very special guests. But before that, Mr. Michael Kenyon Rosenberg, co-CEO and champion of wakeboarding, is here as always.
Thank you guys for being friends.
And our two very special guests and friends, actor Rico E. Anderson.
Woo! What's up, boys?
And also actor and friend Darth F. Schuhe.
Woo!
Darth F.S. Schuhe.
Yep.
Well, which one is it?
Either or, your choice.
It's more like Darth Frank S.S.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. But, you know, when you got a name
Ryan
like
T.
Darth, you don't really need to use a last name pretty much.
Yeah.
So.
Kind of like Cher. Just
Yeah. Like, you're like, which Cher are you talking about specifically?
Yeah.
Speaking of Cher, the way we like to start this show is we make predictions. And then afterwards, we turn back time and figure out if we were right on those predictions.
That's
that
one
worked,
Cher.
right? That almost worked.
Almost.
If I could turn back time.
That's the one.
Okay. What's the Cher?
So Michael Kenyon Rosenberg and
Hey, I got you,
each
babe.
other for many, many years. And so we like to predict what the other person thought of this show.
Oh.
It's a
So,
new thing that since the last time you guys have been on that we started doing now.
so here it
Adding a new
comes.
category.
I know Michael so well that I'm going to predict that Michael gives this a solid like slightly more than a solid like close to a very like. I think that he will think that it was better than he expected. I also know Rico. I've known him since 2013. That's 7 years. I'm going to say Rico liked it. He went into it wanting to like it, expecting to like it, and did like it. And I'm going to think Darth here, who I've known since we were little stinkers practically.
Since we were in junior high, we were still in diapers back then.
Yeah. Well, we were in diapers till high school, middle of high school, I think.
I remember
That's a
changing your
conversation.
guys' diapers. Yeah.
Yeah. We appreciate that, Mike. I know there were some messy ones. So.
Well, I'm glad I met you guys later in life because, yeah.
Rico met us at just the right time.
I'm going to say Darth liked it very much. What are your predictions, Michael?
Everybody liked it.
Rico, do you have any guesses?
I'll start with you, Ryan, because I know how very meticulously critical you can be of things. And I say that you liked it very well. I think that you really did enjoy it. Michael, I think you really enjoyed it too, because it seems like this would be the type of show that would be right up your alley.
Old ladies, yeah.
Yeah, old lady show.
Exactly. And Darth, I think the same, because I think you are a fan of the classics and you can appreciate I know you, buddy, you appreciate a good laugh.
Yeah, I grew up on
Laugh.
sitcoms, you know.
Yeah. So that's
Darth,
my
do you have any
prediction.
predictions?
I'm gonna say this is definitely a crowd pleaser show, so I'd say we all liked it. Maybe I can't really say maybe to the degree, but I'd say we all gave it a pretty solid like, I'd say.
Everybody watching right now, make your predictions too, based on how little or how well you know us. Do you think we liked it? We'll find out in a moment. But before we do that, and by the way, look, this is a show about 4 old ladies in Miami in 1985.
Mm-hmm.
So we figured, why not have 4 dude bros on the West Coast in 2020 reviewing the show? It's perfect, right?
Makes all the sense in the world.
I thought so.
But what's this show about, Michael?
The Golden Girls is a story of 4 older women who share a house in Miami Beach, Florida. B. Arthur plays Dorothy, a divorced schoolteacher with a sardonic wit. Rue McClanahan plays Blanche, a man-hunting Southern belle. Betty White plays Rose, a very sweet woman who's somewhat spacey. Rounding out the trio is Estelle Getty, playing Dorothy's outspoken mother, Sophia. In this episode, the pilot centers on Blanche, who has fallen in love.
I think that Michael could definitely get a hosting position, like an announcer position, doing something like that. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Rico Anderson.
Okay, let's
Back
pull it
to
back.
you, Ryan T. Husk.
Nice, just nice.
You can't take it back, Rico. It's recorded.
Dang it.
That's it. So
Immortalized.
now we're going to kind of tip our hand. People are going to start figuring out if we did, in fact, like it or if we're just faking it, because we're going to compare and contrast what we expected versus what we got. First things first, Michael, before you watch this first episode of The Golden Girls, called The Pilot, but in other places it's called The Engagement. It's called 2 different things. So it's a little confusing, but we all settled in and watched the same first episode. What did you expect, Michael?
Well, let's see. The first time I watched this pilot, because this is not the first time that I've watched this pilot episode. The first time that I can remember was like a year or 2 ago. And I remember liking it back then. And so I expected to like it again.
That was deep.
Rico, what did you expect before you watched it?
I'm a huge fan of comedies, especially back in the 80s and the 90s. So I had high hopes and expectations for it because I really truly believe that they knew how to write comedy back then. And these type of shows with the type of formula that they used back then to write comedies it was golden. See what I did there?
Hey,
yeah, Rico, we saw what you did.
Golden girl.
I come from the Ryan T. Husk school of really bad puns.
Oh,
so,
well, I liked it then.
Oh, okay, good.
Well done.
Thank you.
Darth, what did you expect before you watched it? Yeah, tough question, right?
It is. These guys, already at this point in television history, they had their formula down. They had it on lock. So it kind of that, but these ladies, they got pretty solid writing and charismatic actors. So it met my expectations, I guess. I guess what I was expecting.
But what we're asking, what did you expect?
What were your expectations?
Yeah, Darth.
By the way, how many cups
charismatic old ladies?
How many cups of coffee have you had so far today?
I'm working on my 3rd right now. I'm almost done with my 3rd. It's not that many.
How many food items have you eaten today?
If you don't count the coffee, none. Food isn't coffee, though, huh?
Pretty late in the day. You're 3-0 coffee versus food. Okay.
Is that a normal day for Darth?
Yeah. If you have coffee, you don't really need food.
Yeah. That's
Although
why.
yeah,
that's Darth. So I'll tell you what I expected. I expected a show. I had seen a lot of it when I was a kid. Take a step down memory lane with me. My grandmother used to come and visit when I was a kid, and she would say, let's watch My Little Old Ladies. That's what she called. It's
My
time to
Little
watch
Old
My
Ladies.
Little Old Ladies. Is My Little Old Ladies on? So I'd watch it with my grandma, and I liked it.
Cool.
So I expected to like it. I expected to have some nostalgic fun, and that, that maybe it wouldn't be quite that great or as good as, I didn't want to have too high of expectations, because a lot of times you watch something, that's 30 years old or something, and it's not nearly as good as you expected. What was that recently? We had something like that, Mike, that we saw it and we're like, oh, this was.
Oh, He-Man?
No, He-Man is awesome. You watch your damn mouth. Everybody.
I think you better take that back.
Piss me off.
All right, calm down. Breathe. Remember your Lamaze training.
Remember your Lamaze training. USA.
Anyway. Oh, Quantum Leap.
Oh, yeah.
Quantum Leap might have been that.
Yeah.
Oh, we
Anyways.
did that. I was part of that.
Yeah, you were there.
So I expected to like it. I expected it to be good, but tempered my expectations. But that's what we expected. What did we get? What did you get, Michael?
I got a pretty solid comedy show with some pretty. There was actually some pretty big laughs in here for me. So,
Rico, what did you get?
I loved it all the way through. I loved how they structured it. This is just my thought. I feel like they structured it in a way that tackles where we are going to be drawn towards the most. The first line or the first part of the show starts off with B. Arthur, who a lot of people knew from the days of Maude. Yeah, and then there's Maude. And so
there's a Family Guy joke in there too. And then there's Maude. Say it. And then there's Maude.
Yeah. No, but she's so popular and so funny, and that fan base was there. So it made all the sense in the world to really kick it off with her. And obviously Betty White was legendary already. But as far as like popularity is concerned, I think they made the right choice starting off with her. And then Betty White comes in and she kicks it off. So it was a great, 1-2 punch to really kick it off and to really say, we're about to hit you with something big here.
Darth?
I was wondering how successful or how popular these ladies were when the show started. Like, I guess B. Arthur and Betty White, but
yeah.
Were these guys
Arthur,
relatively unknown? Yeah, she was for sure. I
what
guess.
What did you get, Darth? Did you get a punch too?
It was tight. I felt like it was a pretty tight. Like it was a nice setup.
Nice.
Like you don't need you don't feel like when they're laying down the exposition or the characters. Just you right off the bat, you kind of know who they are. I feel like they did a pretty good job establishing all that. And yeah, I got to agree with Mike too. Like the comedy was pretty solid. Albeit pretty formulaic. For sitcom fare, I guess, but.
And just so you know, all the ladies were popular in their own in their own way. Well, but I mean, B. Arthur and Betty White, I would say, were the most popular. But the most known. But the other two ladies, they had a very solid career.
Even Estelle Getty Center, huh?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, everybody had very solid careers. So for the most part, it was like an all-star cast coming together to do this show.
Golden Globes. Well, I'll tell you what I got. I got a very, very good show. A surprisingly good. I mean, I already liked it as a kid. I already, had a fond memory of it, and so I was expecting to like it for nostalgic reasons. But I actually was so blown away by how good the comedy writing was that I had to immediately, and I never do this, I had to immediately go look on IMDb and check out the lady that wrote this and see what else she's written. This is in 1985, a female showrunner, writer. I mean, people talk about glass ceilings nowadays. This was 35 years ago. This lady created this show, and I saw that she worked with B. Arthur on Maude. Susan Harris was her name. I was blown away. I was like, there is very funny, solid comedy every step of the way. And I was equally or more impressed by the previous, when I first watched it as a kid, there was one character I didn't really like. I thought he or she was stupid. Hint, it's a she. It was B. Arthur's character. I was like, oh God, she was there was the slutty one, there was the funny one, and there was the old witty one, and they were all funny. And I thought B. Arthur was whatever.
Bland and dry.
B. Arthur is a comic genius.
She's the queen of snark, really. I mean, like every line that Dorothy has is like super snarky and just biting and funny.
But her delivery beyond the writing, she is, now I get it. Everybody always thought she was great. She is great. She's
She delivers her like zings like it's just like a throwaway, like she's just entertaining herself, like she's just making a joke for herself.
Right,
like,
yeah.
I'm just gonna rib this person just for my own amusement.
And if you, I was gonna say, if you look at a lot of her earlier work, including Maude and stuff like those other shows, that was her niche, that was her thing, and she was a master at it. She knew comedy. She knew how to deliver.
I always think back to Mel Brooks' History of the World, Part 1.
Yes,
and a bullshit artist.
Yeah.
Yes,
right.
What do you do? Oh, I'm a stand-up philosopher. Bullshit artist. Did you bullshit today?
No.
Did you try to bullshit?
Yes.
That was great. I mean, they were all cameos for the most part in that movie, but she totally nailed it. Here's the thing though. I took a comedy class a couple of years back, and
I can't wait to see the benefits of this.
Well, it's coming. You just hold off there, Mr. Husk. I know where you live. So, but one of the things that the class covered were comedies of the 80s and the 90s. And they touched on the various characters in comedy and what the overall formula was. So you have like the hopeless romantic, the lovable loser, the person who got around, like the slut, or just the loose guy or whatever, and just it's
Joey or the Blanche,
Joey, and it's just and then you structure
the Sam Malone.
Everything around it all, and then you have like the perfect formula of what just never dies down in comedy, and you see that a lot, and they used a lot of those like 80s and 90s shows. So they talked about like the Cosby Show and like Mad About You, and I know the Cosby Show was 80s, but like a lot of the 90s shows, Cheers, Mad About You, Seinfeld, just that formula. And when you look at a show like Golden Girls, that was, I don't want to say the beginning of that formula, but that's when that formula really started to take hold, and it gave birth to all the other ones that we see today. Back in the 90s, I would say. So.
Real quick, who do you guys think was the funniest slutty character in any old sitcom? Just kind of brought up an interesting, that trope of the one that's always like, you can count on them, guy or girl, to say the thing,
Right.
Damn, it might be Blanche. Yeah.
It's got to be Blanche for me. Yeah.
Yeah. But now I'm really thinking here.
I was liking Sam Malone because, you remember those lines. You'd always have, like, the lady would be like, oh, I just want to jump into bed. He'd be like, need anybody to break your fall?
He had the lines for sure.
But no, Blanche is incredible. I mean, the lines that they were saying, I was actually kind of blown. I was like, that's what makes this show so funny, is how racy they were. Like, they were so rude to each other. Like, they were just killing it. And now I'm like, God, no wonder my grandma.
No, Rose, she's
the.
But think about what was that show? Oh man, I can't remember.
The Golden Girls.
I don't know. Moving on.
Like, for example, when at the very beginning, you get it right away. What's at the beginning where she says, oh, Blanche comes into the kitchen and she's like, oh, I got to put cucumbers on my eyes. Yeah. It helps with puffiness. And Rose says, does it work on thighs? She's like, I don't know, honey. I don't need that. Or my thighs don't need that.
No, my thighs.
But the mom, though, she was just all over the place with them.
Ruthless.
kills me.
But they actually explained it.
They explained it.
I never knew that they
I
had an
that
excuse
either.
for that.
Didn't know
really?
that either. Which is
it's
and then her brain just said, "F it, I'm going nuts." With
it says whatever's on her mind.
It says whatever is on her mind. But what's interesting about that is, you know, you have a lot of people where as they get older, they're already set in their ways. So it's I think it's a kind of a bonus where it's like, well, why is she so set in her ways? Well, she had a stroke. Oh, okay, not just because she's older and, you know.
I always thought she just had old Sicilian lady-itis. You know
That's
what I mean?
thought,
Yeah,
That's
like
what
I don't
was
give
gonna
a shit. Itis.
You don't really need the stroke. I mean, because when you get old, you just say whatever you want without consequences anyway. Like, what are they going to do?
Was that the wrong thing to say?
Yeah.
And it's great because she'd just be lighting people up. I mean, she was so just brilliant at it. I mean, they gave her the best lines on that show.
I don't know. I think Rose had some pretty good lines though too. Like when
she had great delivery too.
Dorothy's explaining to her, like, I was sitting in my car and I was looking at the mirror and there's this old lady and I didn't recognize her. And then Rose, like, completely serious, is like, who was it?
Even though we all knew she was going to say that, her delivery is what knocked it out of the park. Yeah,
right.
Hilarious.
So I do have to say, Michael, a callback to 2 episodes. Now, last episode, I made a callback to a previous episode in error because I got mixed up that the Morph character, the X-Men Morph character, was actually in Golden Girls today, not last week in the 100. That Morph character was Coco. It was because when we reviewed
How
X-Men,
surprised were you all when you saw that they had a gay chef working at their house?
Well, the reason I was surprised is because I didn't remember that character. Just kind of like with Morph and X-Men, I was like, I remember seeing episodes of this show and this character doesn't exist. Who is this guy and how do they kill him off?
How many episodes did he last?
I looked that up.
I think
one.
This
one.
I think he might have just only been in the pilot. Yeah.
I think that the execs were like, they don't need him.
No.
Also, it was slightly insulting, you know.
But I wonder if back then they were just like, you know, having those feelings of having somebody gay on the show. You know what I mean? Just that whole mentality.
I was just thinking maybe they were nervous with a all-female cast. So
right, that's what I was thinking.
Get a man in there somewhere.
Yeah, and I think that they just said like,
non-threatening.
Or maybe it was the first episode convinced them. They're like, dude, you're right. These 4 ladies can carry it. They are amazing by themselves. They don't need training wheels.
They don't need a man.
They killed it.
Right? Bitches.
That was a funny joke you said, right, Darth?
Mike and I both.
Yeah, we both said it at the same time. Yeah.
It's December. This is around around the time that Darth actually says a funny.
Hey. One time a year. I made a joke earlier this year too, by the way.
This you can't count this year.
This isn't a belch, Blanche. It's a marriage.
I'll just say whatever the first thing that pops in my mind.
Yeah, I just say
whatever comes out of my mouth.
And they all had their zingers. They all had their moments, and that's what I really appreciated about it. And
at 7 a.m., I get up to pee like clockwork. Unfortunately, I don't wake up until 8.
I don't get out of bed until 8. Yeah.
Oh my God, they got me with that one. They totally got me with that one. And then I love the expression afterwards. They're just like.
Well, and the whole time Dorothy is like I guess it's a real thing because Dorothy's like,
I got to change those sheets every day.
Sheets or diapers.
I don't know. These ladies were trailblazers. They're funny as fuck.
They were brilliant.
Pardon my French.
Yeah, and Mom, Sophia. Yeah, that's all makeup. She wasn't even that old. I'd
say all of them are not as old as I think they were supposed to be.
She was their same age, I heard, yeah.
No, but Mom, that's a wig that she's wearing. It's not only a wig, but like I don't know if they did prosthetics, but they basically made her older than she was. Like, I remember at one point they did like a whole like thing on Entertainment Tonight. And she was just like, hey.
Well, spoilers, later on in the series, they actually do like flashback episodes where Still Getty is playing a younger Sophia.
Oh, damn.
Okay.
Fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
See? Yeah. So what
Now,
what a character development.
Back in the day, Mike and Darth and I wanted to go for Halloween as the Golden Girls. We just needed a fourth person. And I always called dibs on Maude on Dorothy because I was like, I could just be like, Ma, and just like not shave. And now I'm just like, that wouldn't even be a joke. It would be an honor to be.
And you wouldn't have to change your voice either. You just have to just keep talking the regular.
Or my stature.
So, okay, if the four of us were the Golden Girls.
Right. I don't remember. I think, Mike, you were going to be Blanche.
I would be Sophia.
Okay. Do your Sophia impression.
Picture it. Sicily, 1922.
I don't know. I like you as well. Darth, who would you be?
I was
I thought you were going to be Rose.
I'm thinking Rose.
Yeah, I'm probably Rose. No,
Yeah.
I was saying maybe Blanche, just because like I'm also obsessed with sex, with elderly men.
I thought the Rico would definitely be the Blanche.
Thank you, Michael. Yeah, I'm going to slightly agree with that. No, I agree with that. I agree.
All right. Everybody in the live chat and in the comments, you have to give us each a character. This is how I picture it. Sicily. No, I picture it myself as Dorothy.
From The Wizard of Oz.
Michael and Darth are interchangeable. They could both either be Rose or Blanche. But I want Rico's got to be Sophia in my mind. No, Sophia.
Oh, wait.
You're the oldest
Sophia.
lady.
Oh.
Because
talking shit every 5 minutes.
Because I've seen Mike both do a Rose type character and a Blanche type character, so I know he can do those. And same thing with Darth. And I just think it would be hilarious to see Rico as Sophia.
He's got the hair already.
And I can rock the prosthetics, so there you go.
A little baby powder.
Yeah.
But yeah, let us know, everybody, in the comments below. You cast us.
But I'm keeping the facial hair regardless. So.
Oh, that's nice. That'll work. Yeah.
Well, no, just do a Cesar Romero as the Joker, because like when he played the Joker,
makeup it up.
He kept his mustache. When you look, he always had his mustache. He never shaved.
Oh yeah, it's clear as day.
That was part of his thing. He's like, I'll play the Joker, but I will never shave. So yeah, cast us. Oh God, that's gonna be scary because people who know us are gonna be like, oh yeah, I know this motherfucker.
All right. Now we always like to ask the question, who is your favorite character? This is a fun one, but it's a two-parter. Who is your favorite character, and who do you think was the funniest? Whether you want it to be the funniest character, the funniest actress playing the character, or whatever. Michael, favorite character and funniest character?
My favorite character has to be Sophia. That's why I wanted to be Sophia. But the funniest character to me has got to be Rose, like hands down. I mean, those are like the two funniest characters in my opinion, anyway. Like Dorothy does have some good zingers and good kind of snark, but for me, like Sophia's old lady jokes are just hilarious, and then Rose, Rose just takes the cake with her idiot jokes. Yeah.
Oh, I can't eat chocolate. That would be a Rose thing to say. That is such a Rose thing to say. Rico, do you have? Oh wait, you said your favorite and the funniest, right?
Yeah, favorite is Sophia, funniest is Rose.
Rico, favorite and funniest.
Favorite would have to be lovely. Favorite would have to be Arthur. Just because nostalgic. I'm just a huge fan of her, and have been a fan of her work since Maude. I mean, I just love her delivery, and just that whole attitude that she projects when she acts. So that's my favorite. Funniest, I would have to say Sophia. I just think that she just comes with it. They give her the zingers, and I think she nails it every time. She knows. I mean, all four of those girls know comedy, but there's and also because I'm a fan of the extra that is put into her character, and I'm saying in terms of the way she acts, but also just in terms of her look. Again, all of that is makeup. I don't think it's prosthetics. It could have been prosthetics. I don't know. I don't think so.
I don't think so. For a sitcom, yeah.
Yeah, but they threw the wig on her. They threw the glasses on her. They threw all the things
Some
on
lines
her.
or something.
Maybe it was something, but it's just that thing that helps bring that character in. It's like, if I'm in makeup playing Boros from Star Trek Renegades or the Mocklin Doctor from the Orville. There's something about playing those characters when you're wearing that prosthetic that is a different form of acting. So I appreciate what she did with that character and how funny as hell she was as a result of it.
Darth, do you have a favorite and funniest character?
Favorite, I think, man, these guys are just all so solid. They're all just so great at their characters. But yeah, I probably lean maybe towards Rose. She just, I think there's a challenge. I could be wrong here. Maybe you guys could speak on this better. As far as acting like dumb, I think it's a real balancing act, of like being too silly and being believable. Like, can this person really exist in the world? Obviously in sitcoms they're a little dumbed down a lot than regular idiots, but did anything I say make sense? Somewhat.
No, it makes total sense.
Yeah. So, but you're saying that she's your favorite and the funniest?
Yeah, I'd say probably, yeah. But like everybody else is just right. It's a photo finish.
Who's that, Rose?
Yeah.
Rose.
Yeah, sorry, I drifted off. You were making sense. I was just thinking about some of the funny lines earlier and thinking, God, I just want to review all these episodes.
You were thinking about what topping you were going to put on your pizza tonight.
No, I'll tell you what line I was thinking about. I was thinking about this brilliant line that was given to Dorothy. She says, at that age, you don't have to be pretty to be pretty.
Yeah, that was a good line.
I'm like, I swear to God, like, I'm not even a lady, but I know that ladies are going, yes,
Yeah.
and because even me as a dude, I'm going, I get it. I'm there with you. Favorite character when I was a kid, it was, Sophia and Rose, because they were kind of like just the funny characters for me as a kid to watch and get. I would say my favorite character right now, I guess maybe it's Dorothy. My least favorite became my favorite in one episode. And the funniest, but they're all, I guess it has to be Dorothy, which is funny because she was kind of like the straight character, but watching it now, I see it. I'm like, and I put it in my notes. I'm like, I said, B. Arthur is a comic genius. She's a fucking comic genius. I couldn't believe it. Anyway, so maybe
Brian French.
I'm sorry. I'm just saying that's what it said in my notes. That's what I wrote. It's a quote. I'm
quoting myself here.
Yeah.
Okay. For example, when Rose says, "Speaking of sad," and Dorothy goes, "Shut up, Rose," and then she goes, "Pick that up," and she picks up like a thing and tosses it.
and then she goes to get it.
You hear it thud, but she said,
"Pick that up."
She said, "Pick that up," before she even tossed it. She went, "Pick that up," and the way she threw it, I rewound it 7 times because of the animosity with which she threw it. She picked that up and she went like this and she just flung it. And I was like, I'm taking notes. I'm taking comedy notes. I'm like, this girl's so funny. She's so good.
What was that line?
Well, I just want to say real quick, just like when she put her in a chokehold.
Yes, brilliant.
And you look at Rose's eyes when she's trying to cover up, and she's just like, it's just those brilliant little subtleties.
And it was legitimately an old lady putting another old lady in a actual violent headlock. They're doing their own stunts.
Yeah.
Darth, what were you saying?
What was that line? This is a great line where Rose says something like, "Interested in what?" And Dorothy's like, "If you have to ask, like you're not." What did you say? It's like it doesn't matter anymore or something. The way she said it was like an obvious joke, but it was just perfect. It was like, yeah, clearly it's past that time for you now.
Just awesome.
Oysters don't move. They could dance. Who cares?
They could dance, yeah. And then they keep going on about it. She keeps going on.
If you really watch them very closely.
Yeah. Yeah, it really did set the bar for what the show was going to be all about in terms of we're going to get you here, we're going to get you there, we're going to get you here, there, and everywhere.
It's so concise.
Very concise. And what I loved about the show was nothing really changed throughout its run. You know how like some shows start off a certain way and they're still trying to find their way. So you're seeing little things here and there, which is like, I don't know.
Going in a weird direction.
Yeah, but for the most part.
Jump the shark moment.
Yeah, but for the most part, it's all been the same. But this is literally, to me, one of those examples of if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I mean, they changed a few things here and there, but for the most part, the train just kept moving like that.
At what point did you guys realize this was going to be fun? I mean, like, for me, I mean, like the get-go, as soon as you hear that song that everybody knows, kind of like Cheers, you know, everybody knows your name. You know, there are a couple songs where you're like, oh my God, everybody knows this one. And everybody knows this one. As soon as it starts, da 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 da, you start getting, you're like, oh, this is gonna be fun.
I think I agree with that too. I mean, like I think I wrote in my notes like right away the song is kind of, I wouldn't say rocking, but it definitely has a bump to it. You know, you definitely want to like bounce your head to it, and like and it makes you smile automatically just thinking about the song.
Yeah, it goes hard.
Yeah, have you guys heard like there's a couple of people who've done this. They've taken the song and they sing along with it, but they add kind of like some background to it. And it's actually pretty brilliant.
Rico, we don't have the TikTok app.
It's not the well, actually, maybe it was TikTok. I don't know. But seriously, when you listen to it, you're like, they could have easily recorded it that way. And it's the song. You're hearing the song, but you're hearing somebody in the background, you know, something like that. But it's done so well where when you listen to it, you're like, holy shit, this is actually really good.
I want to hear a party.
Yeah, don't take my word for
it. A metal cover?
Yeah.
Oh, that would be cool.
Oh, it'd be so hot, dude. Like that Leo Moricelli guy out in Norway who does metal covers. Oh man, maybe he did cover this one. I'll check it out. He's amazing.
Tell him to.
Oh, no.
He's amazing. Frog
now I want to find
Studios.
it.
Make him do it.
And then it opens up first scene, and they're already making jokes right away. I mean, within the first minute, I was like, dude, this show is better than I thought. Like when Rose comes in and she says, oh, it's just one sad person after another. And they say,
You work at grief
counseling. What do you expect, comedians?
That'd be a nice change of pace.
And even before that, the first thing, it right out the barrel, right out the gate, Dorothy walks in and saying, you know, 2 kids have blue hair, other kids had
shaved heads,
and she's like, I can't talk to ugly kids or whatever the joke was. She's just talking about they're just ugly.
I kicked them out for being too ugly.
Let's just go through the script line by line.
Wait, guys, I hate to do this because I know this is like kind of off the
Here we go. Okay, Sophia.
What?
Listen.
Yeah.
So we started from the bottom, now we're here, girl. Oh, yeah.
Yes, I have seen this.
This is my butt right here. The biggest gift, the biggest. Thank you for being my friend.
Great, Rico. Now we gotta cut that whole segment.
That was way too much.
There's actually a better version, but you get the idea.
Oh yeah, I wonder if we do have to cut it out because
I think we might have to.
Because
why?
Because that's copyright infringement. Yeah. Somebody else's video.
Crap.
We can do like a few seconds of it.
All right.
But I will say, Rico, now that you played that, I do remember that, and I watched it a few times, 2-3 years ago, maybe.
Yeah.
Really good.
Well, thanks for making more work for me.
You're not doing anything but sitting on your butt and buying condos. So.
Buying condos.
Right.
Hey, as long as we're going off the rails here, did anybody? So when I was looking this up, I saw the spin-off show pop up, Golden Palace. I don't know. Has anybody checked that out?
You know, I'd never heard of it.
I didn't know it was a thing
until I looked up Susan Harris on IMDb, and I saw Golden Palace, and I was like, oh, that must be the spin-off afterwards when B. Arthur left, and it was like 1 or 2 seasons.
Did she leave the show? Is that what happened?
She's not. She's the only one that doesn't show up on that show, and it's weird the way they talk about her. I was thinking, wonder how it's like they don't really talk about her like she's dead. They just say like she's gone, so it's like they don't really explain.
Well, actually, I recognized there was Cheech Marin too.
Well, and Don Cheadle. That was the thing. As soon as he was on the thumbnail, I was like, what the hell? I was
That's what I saw too.
I'll give you guys a little bit of a spoiler. At the end of the series, Dorothy remarries her ex Stan.
I figured she met a guy or something like that.
No, I think she marries somebody else. No, that's what it is. She does marry somebody. It's not Stan. Stan is there and like gives her away or something like that. But like she marries somebody else and like goes off, and that's probably what they did with that after that.
How long did that show last? You guys
1 or 2 seasons.
Okay.
Maybe 3.
WTF Golden Palace. Come on.
Yeah.
We watch that,
guys.
It's kind of like All in the Family with Archie Bunker's place.
Well, there was another spinoff too, Empty Nest. Like Ryan always says Empty Nest at the beginning of the shows too, when he says WTF. Like that was a spinoff of Golden Girls as well.
Right. That one I do remember that one actually spinning off. Or how they back then they would have like a character come in and the entire episode was about this, and we're like, why are they doing this to us? And then it says continuing on Empty Nest Wednesday at 9, and you're like, oh, I get it.
Wait.
What tricked us?
Who was spun off from Golden Girls? What was Empty?
It wasn't anybody that was on Golden Girls. It was like they brought it was like he was like a doctor, and so they brought the doctor character on for an episode.
Okay.
And like
it's like they're trying to steal the viewers of the one show. Like, well, it's got this big viewership, so maybe we can trick some people into.
Right.
It was about like an old man and like his neighbors and his daughters.
Well, actually, funnily enough, like
Christy Brinkley, was that the show?
I remember hearing about it.
Or Christy McNichol? Christy McNichol.
I think, yeah.
I remember Christy from 8 is Enough. Remember that?
But the neighbor character actually on Empty Nest is like I think that's what Quagmire was ripped off from. He was like a pilot and like
Charlie. Charlie.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Did you say giggity?
I don't know, maybe.
All right.
Giggity goo. No, but Charlie was. You're right. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, when I first saw Quagmire, I immediately thought, "Oh, that's that guy from Empty Nest."
Hey, I got a trivia question for you guys.
All right, trivia time.
What is the universe that
Marvel Universe,
everything.
Marvel Cinematic Universe,
all of it, everything.
yeah, no, it's all connected.
Infinite.
No, what is the universe that has the most spin-offs?
Happy Days.
Star Trek.
Happy Days.
Oh yes, Star Trek.
No. Well, maybe Star Trek, but okay.
Star Trek.
Damn. Okay, then that kind of kills.
He means in comedies.
In comedies on TV. Well, in comedies, yes. Okay.
Yeah, I would agree with Ryan that it's gonna be Happy Days.
Happy Days.
Happy Days.
What do they have? Mork and Mindy.
Laverne
and
Shirley. Joni Loves Chachi.
Yeah.
And then there was another one that lasted.
The Cunninghams? No.
I never saw any of those. Oh wait, Laverne and Shirley. I saw a little bit of that when I was a kid.
That shows. That's a WTF. That's a WTF.
That's a solid show. Yeah, for
that
sure.
show was brilliant. But the answer.
Do you know which of the Laverne and Shirley characters was in Star Trek?
Yes.
Penny Marshall.
No. Michael McKean.
No.
Michael McKean definitely was. Yeah.
Michael McKean. He was in Voyager.
Yeah, he played the clown faced guy in like the Fear episode of Voyager, and he was also the brother in Better Call Saul. Really good actor.
Yeah.
Anyways,
wonderful.
Rico.
He was also in This Is Spinal Tap.
Yeah, say every Christopher Guest movie.
Yeah.
So was the actor that played Coco.
He
was the manager of a store or something.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, sorry, Rico. You opened the trivia box. Sorry.
What's the show?
So the show is All in the Family. And from that, the spinoffs were Maude, Good Times, The Jeffersons.
I was going to guess Good Times, actually, as the universe.
Yeah. And from that, Gloria, which was a spinoff of All in the Family, Archie Bunker's Place, and then what was the address? Something Hauser.
227.
No, it was something
90210.
Hauser. No, and the show took place in the Bunker household. But this is after they have either gone or died off, and it was
recycling their set.
They actually, the only thing that was left over from the set was the door. They had to rebuild everything else.
So the correct answer is Star Trek. Okay, moving on.
I don't know. That's pretty close.
Because I think there were a couple of other shows too. But anyway. But their universe is pretty epic if you think about it. It's like it's all connected.
It's all in the family.
Good Times. Oh, Good Times too, if I didn't say it.
You said that.
Yeah, so Good Times in the Jeffersons.
You can't say something twice.
Yeah.
Fine.
Unless it's What's Happening and What's Happening Now. Then you're allowed.
Those are two different shows. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't say something. Oh wait, whoops. Sorry.
That's a direct sequel. What's Happening Now?
What's happening? What's happening now?
Yeah.
Anyway.
So the Golden Girls.
Who's talking again?
Yeah. Let's finish up on Golden Girls here. We could tell, all of the funny jokes. We can go over the script line for line, as Michael suggested.
Let's do that.
But overall, basically, it was just a very well-written, huge props to Susan Harris, whoever, I never heard her, I don't know. But she was huge, and she did a lot of work, I checked her out on IMDb. She did a ton of stuff, and huge props to the actresses that were hysterical. I mean, they were very, very talented comedic actresses. I was just very impressed, honestly, by the acting.
Yeah.
So, spoiler alert, we all loved it.
Well,
to answer your questions from earlier.
You have to wait until the Terrible Twos / bottom line to find out.
You mean the
how
bottom
really...
line / the bottom
final
line.
deuce. The final deuce.
After 3 cups of coffee, I'm sure that's what you're thinking about, Darth.
I do have to pee pretty bad. I got to pee like Secretariat over here.
Oh, lovely. At least it's pee. Jeez. No, I think the pilot definitely was a winner, and I would be very surprised if anybody came out of that thinking, nah, ain't feeling it. This ain't gonna make it. It's not gonna be successful. I would be very surprised if I mean, there's always one, but I'd be very surprised if that was the overall the large percentage consensus. The show was brilliant. This pilot was brilliant.
One more thing about that is when people were watching it, when you're saying that, it reminded me of something that has bothered us in the past on the show, and that's a live studio audience. Like in Be Positive, it just seemed so childish almost.
Yeah.
But in this show, the studio audience made it so much better. It's like at one point, I don't remember where it was, or if I put it in my notes, but at one point, here it is. Dorothy had hardcore shoulder pads, but that wasn't it.
Who didn't back then?
It was
Who
when
didn't?
They were making jokes and they were talking about, that's what it was. When Blanche comes in and introduces herself to Sophia, Sophia says, "Oh, so nice to see you." Or Blanche says, "So nice to see you." And she goes, "Who are you?"
Who are you?
And she says, "It's me. It's me, Blanche." And she goes, "You look like a prostitute."
Yeah.
And
coming in hot.
There were a couple dudes in the audience that were beside themselves with laughter. Go back and listen to them. Like 15 seconds after that line, there's at least one guy that was practically dying. He was having a heart. He's like, yeah! I was like, that enhances it, because you're like, these people that are watching this live are shocked at how funny these 4 ladies are, right?
Yeah. Literally dying. And loving it, There's something
to find out it's the guy that wrote the joke.
It's the guy that warms up the audience.
Yeah, come on, you guys.
But you know what? This is something that I read. There were some sitcoms where they actually had people planted to enhance the laughter that kind of kicked off everyone else going, "Oh yeah, that was funny," So maybe so.
I would nominate Mike for that. when one of my plays was produced and Michael was in the audience, he made that a good day by himself.
He was the audience hype man.
He was, because he's got such a good laugh and he knows when to laugh, and everybody else starts. No, you have a good laugh.
Everybody's like, this guy knows what funny is. All right, this guy.
So when we all so when we all sell our multicam comedies, fly Michael in and
pay me bunches of money.
Or when you go watch a comedy in the theaters, just sit with Mike. It enhances it.
If we ever get to do that again.
Kind of like take Rico with you to watch a horror movie. That also enhances the experience. It does.
And that's because
you have big reactions and it's fun.
He says you're a weenie.
Maybe I scream like a girl, and I don't know. Maybe I do.
And bring Darth with you to watch anything, I guess.
Anything, yeah.
If you want a nice positive review afterwards. A glowing review.
But see, that's the thing. There's so many. I mean, you guys know me. There's not a lot I criticize. Rico. Yes. There's not a lot I criticize. So if I really don't like something, I really don't like
it's
something.
Bad. It's real bad.
It's bad, man. Because usually I like everything. Usually I'm like, yeah, I can see this doing this thing. But
yeah, I'm the same way. I cut something way too much slack.
Like when you gave Along Came Polly a 10. That's when I divorced you as somebody I would consider a good
I stand by that. Critic. It's pretty solid.
We came out of the theaters. I'm like, so what do you think? He's like, oh, that was a solid 10. I was like,
so the bromance died?
For a rom-com, you know, for a rom-com.
Along Came, I never forgot that. I was just like, oh, well, then I can't.
I can't be your friend.
We have nothing in common.
I have no buddy.
Like, we don't even like the same stuff in Star Trek. We like it for completely different reasons.
Well, that's a whole other conversation.
Speaking of completely different reasons, we're going to have to hit the pause button on the Golden Girls, sadly. We could talk about them all day and night. Darth could be on his 7th cup of coffee. But let's talk about you, Rico E. Anderson, actor,
Sure.
awards ceremony host for a moment. Actually, let's start with that. Cool. You've hosted an awards ceremony recently, right? What's up with that? That was pretty awesome.
Thank you, man. It was called the Short Film Awards, a.k.a. the Sophies for short. It was created by Cindy Malika Birch, who is out of New Jersey. A good friend of mine from back in the day. She used to live out here in Los Angeles, and she called me up one day, man, and she was just like, look, I have this award show that I created, and I want you to host it. I think you're funny. And I was like, okay, you're probably going to never have to do this show again. It's been great, man. Normally I would have been in New York doing it, which is where the show was originally, but because of all things COVID, I had to set up my living room for a virtual stage, and I hosted it. This is my 3rd time hosting it. So,
question:
cool.
Shouldn't they call it the Showfies?
The Showfies? Well, Sophie is more, I don't know.
Sophia.
Sophies. You got to take it up with the lady in charge, all right? I just work here. The Showfies.
Actually, it looks like Sophia is trying to stop you and say something. I think it's great that anybody that's going to watch just this interview, they're going to be like, why is this awards presenter and actor hanging out with the Golden Girls and Sophia's trying to give him a wet willy?
I'm a jack of all trades. So that's happening, or that happened. And I love it.
Jill.
Yeah.
Right. And it looked really cool. I saw, a little still frame of it. Like, you actually, you set up your living room to look like, an awards ceremony kind of situation. You're all tuxed out. I don't remember if you had a podium or anything like that, but I was like, wow, you guys fully did an awards ceremony from your respective living rooms. And it must have taken a lot of time, a lot of work, but you nailed it.
Thank you. Yeah, we threw up the green screen and we had the virtual background, and I had a little podium set up with the cards and for the winners. We worked with a gentleman out here who specializes in putting these type of shows together, And yeah, man, we rocked it. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun doing this virtually. In fact, this is the Sophie Award right here. It's
nice.
Yeah. So,
give it to Sophia.
or Shofi. Shofi is as Michael says. But it's a beautiful award. It's actually made by the same people who does the Oscars. It has the same.
She's reaching for it, like Kanye reaching Taylor Swift. Hand it to her.
I want to let you finish, but I just want to say,
First of all,
so yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Now, besides that, though, you've recently worked again on a television series called SWAT. That's really cool. That is an awesome show. It's very popular.
Yeah, man.
What kind of role is that? So
I play Shamar Moore's father in flashback scenes dating back to the late 80s and early 90s. This is my second time playing the character. Oba Babatunde plays young Daniel or Daniel Sr. in present day. I play young Daniel back in the day. Shamar Moore's character Hondo has some issues with his father leaving the family, starting another family, and not just being there for him growing up. So a lot of the flashbacks deal with that relationship, those relationship issues. And I shot it 2 years. I shot my first time playing that character 2 years ago. And then they brought the character back this year. And what was interesting about this year was we were originally slated to shoot the episode in March, right, Darth? And COVID hit, and because of Darth Schuhe, ladies and gentlemen. Darth, what do you have to say about this? What are your thoughts? We should have lavalier mic'd him.
We don't want to know what's happening right now.
Would have had a Naked Gun moment. But yeah, long story short, we were supposed to shoot that episode in late March. COVID hit, and then also George Floyd was murdered, and then just everything just turned into what it was. And so we ended up, production was shut down. We never got a chance to shoot it. And so when production came back up and they were renewed for a fourth season, they decided to take what was supposed to be the season 3 finale and make it the season 4 premiere with some tweaks in the script, talking about what has been going on today, but also because the original script had my character story arc taking place in 1992 during the Rodney King trial verdict and eventual uprising riots that took place. So it was very innovative just because at the time, Ahmaud Arbery wasn't murdered, George Floyd wasn't murdered, the pandemic hadn't kicked in when we originally were supposed to shoot the episode. So it's a very powerful episode regardless. Yeah, I encourage people to watch it. Season 4, episode 1 premiere. I'm all up in it, baby.
And you just shot something very recently, by the way, with some of our old pals. You kind of got half the band back together. How was that?
Yeah. Tim Russ and his daughter Madison and Scotty Baker. Hey, Darth. Darth back.
Hey, Darth's crotch.
Had a chance to shoot something with that crew again. It's always great to come back and shoot with all you guys. It's always a party. It's always a lot of fun. And I'm also on set shooting season 2 of the Apple TV Plus series Truth Be Told.
Nice. So you're back for season 2, huh?
Yeah. They brought the character back. They brought the show back. Octavia Spencer stars in it. Ron Cephas Jones from This Is Us is in it.
Nice,
Kate Hudson joined the cast for the second season.
Wow.
And it's been great.
Yeah, she's great. They named a river after her.
See? So,
Bum.
And a bay.
He's here till Tuesday. Tip your waiter.
Yeah, Kate Bay and in the Kate River, man.
Which is right next to the Hudson.
Fill back up with some water. There we go.
There you go. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. So we will include all of your information, social media stuff in the description box down below. thank you so much for joining us. Now it's time to move into the aforementioned terrible twos.
Bottom line.
Bum, bum, bum.
The bottom line.
Darth would say the final deuce.
The final deuce.
Does Darth have to go? Never mind. Go ahead.
He always has to go.
What is Rico going to call it, though?
The double down.
All right.
The double decker. The double down.
Not bad.
Double
Not bad.
down. I'm sticking
Both of
to
those
it.
names make me hungry.
Double down on the final deuce.
Yeah.
Okay.
Double decker.
Time
The
to
double
evacuate.
decker on the final deuce. Okay.
On your
Hi, Talk on a
your-
Saturday.
on your
Yep.
bottom line.
The upper decker. All right. So,
The outcome will not be pretty. Yes.
bottom line, final two questions of this episode before we move on and say goodbye to the Golden Girls. Isn't it sad they're all gone except for one?
I know.
And I
Wow,
was
that's
always
true,
very
huh?
happy that Rue McClanahan and Betty White were very big in the animal rights and animal welfare things, you know, so I always had a special eye and a special heart for them. Anyway, only one left, and she's a national treasure, Miss Betty White.
Yes, she is.
He is. He really is.
Yeah. Final two questions. Here we go. I mean, she played an old lady 35 years ago,
He's still there.
and she's still an old lady.
Nothing changed. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Here's the thing. Question number one. Mike trailblazes and leads the way for us.
Yeah.
The question is,
I
on a-
stall so that you guys can have time to think what you're going to say.
right. On a scale of
That's
1 to
gonna take a
10,
good afternoon for me.
scale of 1 to 10, what would you give the Golden Girls first episode?
The pilot of the Golden Girls.
Right.
Named the pilot or the engagement,
Or the
depending on where you look. Of the Golden Girls, 1985. We're going way back
Mhm.
to 1985. I'll say this. The comedy was solid. The character development was great. You know exactly who these characters are going to be throughout the rest of the series. You know exactly what you're expecting for comedy, and it's good comedy, hilarious. And so with all those things considered, I think I'm going to have to give the Golden Girls, on a scale of 1 to 10, a 9.5.
Understood.
Mm.
That's a favorable score.
Yeah.
Let me take a quick check to see, is that the highest? I don't think that's the highest you've given. I remember you gave
I think I gave Raised by Wolves maybe a little bit higher, but
You gave-
it's
yeah,
one-
you're right.
it's one of my highest scores. Yeah.
Raised by wolves.
9.8 you gave Raised
Yeah.
by Wolves.
Raised by wolves.
Rico E. Anderson, who, by the way, gives us his Twitter handle as if anybody can see it. We're the only ones that can see that.
No.
It's
actually-
never miss an opportunity.
It's actually my Twitter and my Instagram handle.
Mhm.
And email address.
Ooh.
I am Rico
Hey.
Anderson. Please follow me.
Twitstagram.
Yes.
And your
Please follow me.
TikTok. Your
And my
TikTok.
Yeah.
So,
Actually, I don't know what my TikTok is. Sorry.
scale of 1 to 10?
Scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give it a solid 10 plus, man. Seriously, comedies back then just.
This is Rico's favorite show of all time.
I'm going to say it's definitely up there in the top 10. They knew how to comedy. They knew what they were doing. They nailed it. And I did not see any flaws. And to me, it was a smooth running train from the beginning. And I think they executed it perfectly. Like I was saying in the beginning with having the author and then having Betty White, you got your two strong ones kicking it off, letting you know these two. And here they are. And now let's bring everybody in and really just give you some love. That's going to happen for, I don't even know how many seasons they went. So
7.
7 seasons of just killing it. Solid 10 plus.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
That is some high marks so far.
High praise, yeah.
We are at the highest so far we've ever done. I don't know if that's going to last because Darth is a harsh critic. He is. He gave Something About Polly a 10, so you know. Wait, something about Mary. Along came Polly.
He gave
funny because they're just a few years from each other.
Along came Something About Polly.
Yeah.
Okay.
So right there, you know.
Scale of 1 to
Darth
10.
Schuhe.
Darth Schuhe.
You can talk it
it's
out.
tough because it's solid, and all the performers are solid. The writing's solid. Everything's so concise, so tight. But at the same time, it's bordering on like standard sitcom fare from the 80s, you know? It's like a 10 almost seems too high, but at the same time, like I feel like if I go lower, that it's not doing it justice, you know, like I'm grading it on a curve or something. Let's say 9.5, but make it a solid gold 9.5. For the
Solid
Good. We'll make a note of the solid gold.
Yeah, mark that in the book if you guys don't mind.
The
Yeah.
solid
9.5.
Here,
Parentheses,
down.
solid gold.
The solid
to be
gold
consi-
section.
Right. Not to be confused with the TV show Solid Gold.
Right. Solid golden. Okay.
All right,
So-
here we go, Ryan.
Come on, Mr.
God dang.
It's tough, huh?
I mean, I'm going to be honest with y'all
great.
that I want to give it a point for every Golden Girl. Okay.
So you're going to give the show a 4?
Times 2.5.
Let me get my calculator out real quick.
I know. Like,
Because when I was watching it, I was like, this is from the gate, from second one,
The
with
word
the
go.
song, and then from the first bits of dialogue and the acting, the writing, throughout, I was shocked. I was blown away, and I kept rewinding parts. This was like not just a perfect pilot, but like a 10. Now I want to knock it down, or I don't want to, but I feel like I should knock it down to a 9.5 or a 9 because of Coco, because I thought, you know, it was kind of a useless character and it was weird and we didn't understand, is he their friend? Is he their roommate? Is he their servant? I don't understand.
Yeah, that was really bizarre.
He was so out of place, but then to find out that they made up for that mistake by just getting rid of him. So it was probably like the executives at the top that said, you got to have something, you know, or whatever. I don't know.
You can't own gays.
But
Sorry,
they do,
but you can't own a gay.
yeah, they get, or people named Coco. They made up for their mistakes. They get points for that. But you know what? Rather than going with my mind, which gives it a 9.5, I'm going to go with my heart and say this show deserves a 10. So I am going to give my first 10, maybe
Wow.
ever, because it is. I think whatever I Love Lucy did in the 50s for women in comedy, I think these guys did at least that for women in comedy in the 80s. I mean, it's just blown away. They deserve a 10. That's it, in my opinion.
all right. Ryan T. Husk, another first.
Yeah. So
Wow.
speaking of first, we watched the first episode for the purposes of this podcast. Now that the podcast is over and you're free to move about the internet, would you watch the second episode, Michael?
I have, and I would again. Actually, my wife and I, we watched the entire series about a year or two ago. Like, we always like to have a show that we can watch while we're going to sleep, because my wife needs to watch TV to go to sleep. I can't, so I have to watch whatever show that we're watching. And so I like to have a show that I would enjoy. And so we tried the Golden Girls, and obviously, as we all know, by just watching this pilot, it was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And so we kept watching it. I watched the entire series, and so it's solid throughout, minus a couple clip shows, obviously.
Oh.
Yeah.
The 80s just loved to do those clip shows.
90s did it too, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure they're probably still doing it to this day.
Next Generation did it, Star Trek Next Generation.
No. Oh,
Yeah, in the
God,
second
that's disappointing.
it was like the end of the first season or beginning of the second season, so they didn't even have a lot of clips to
Right.
work with. What was
the
it called?
hell? They're
Rico?
desperate.
The Riker clip show where he kept going, something's got me. I hate it so much.
He had that virus in him, or that bug or something.
What was it called though? I always ask this, and people always know, and I always forget what it's called.
Wouldn't it be great if we had a way of finding out?
Yeah, if only there was some kind of device that we were working on right now.
Episode.
Yeah.
Well,
anyway,
Rico,
now that you're done here, would you watch the second episode while Michael finds our episode?
Well, first of all, I want to say that I love the whole watching a show as you go to sleep because, like my dad used to say, I'm going to watch the TV until the TV watches me. So,
oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
So,
he's always watching you.
Exactly. Always. Yes, I would. If streaming, if we had the technology today that we had back in '85, I would be waiting with bated breath for the next week episode because I really enjoyed the pilot, and this would definitely be one of the shows that I would be like, I don't know if it came on Thursdays. Thursdays can't come soon enough. So yes,
you have to set your VCR.
Yeah, set my VCR and hope it doesn't break down or anything. Mom, you didn't set the.
Mom, I missed the last 10 minutes.
Yeah. No, I'll never see it.
Never,
ever. Yeah.
Shades of Grey. To answer
That's
your
the one.
question.
Yeah, Shades of Grey.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Okay. So yes,
I always want to call it Skin of Evil, but that's Armus.
Yeah.
Skin of Evil.
Anyway, so yes, from Rico.
Yes.
Nice.
Most definitely.
Darth,
Yes.
Franklin,
Schiavo. Short answer, yes. But I will say, watching the pilot, I felt like I've seen definitely a good handful, probably more episodes of Golden Girls, and I remember watching the pilot thinking, man, I feel like this was the plot of like every episode I saw. It was always like Blanche, or maybe it was one of the girls was involved with a guy, and the other ones had some kind of issue with him or something like that. I feel like that was every single episode I saw. I was that plot.
It's not, but
okay. I say Mike would know.
That is like there are a good handful of those, but that's not every episode.
I mean, how much hijinks could four old ladies get into?
Yeah, serious.
You'd be surprised.
Tune in next week.
Hey, they're in Miami, so
yeah, anything gonna happen
in Miami.
Yeah.
Sucker.
Okay. And also the thing that made me want to go down to a 9.5 was that a little bit of the humor, like one or two things, was a little outdated. But I forgive it because it's 80s. But anyway, I'm still sticking with the 10.
I was wondering that if anybody's offended, if there's any people that are like really sensitive that might be offended by some of the
I would
dated jokes.
There were a couple.
Could be.
Okay, so would I watch the second episode? This is actually tougher than I thought it would be because it's a great show. But I almost kind of figure okay, I enjoyed it. I had my fun. I can kind of just put it in a little Russian egg. What are those Russian egg?
Nestling dolls.
Nesting dolls.
Fabergé egg, I was thinking.
Fabergé.
Anyway, put in that little thing and just put it in my little heart and keep it there forever as this, item.
Sasha Kerbal, if you're watching, tell us what that Russian egg is.
By the way, I will say Sasha Kerbal was the one that recommended we watch this. So this one is for you, Sasha. That's why it's perfect that you're here, Rico. Thanks for reminding us.
No problem. That's what I
almost forgot that.
Shout out to Sasha Kerbal.
Sure. Yes, I would. Overall, yes.
All right. 4 for 4.
Don't yell at Sasha. Woohoo!
We did it, guys. 4 for 4. Maybe we should just do a podcast where we review every Golden Girls episode.
I know, man. I know.
Except for the clip shows.
Yeah. And remember that one time. No, honestly, I literally want to go back. This is a show that I could binge.
It stands up, actually.
I would want to. I could see myself just binging a whole bunch of Golden Girls.
That's because you have a ton of mirrors everywhere. Hey,
they're step and repeats, but
yeah. Now I forgot what I was going to say because I was too busy thinking of that dumb joke.
You got to know. Mental multitasking.
Clip show. If we review every episode of the Golden Girls as a podcast, when they do a clip show, rather than reviewing the clip show, we just do our own clip show. we teach them a lesson by doing our own clip show of
Hey,
our own
remember that
podcast.
one episode where?
Remember that time?
Clip show of a clip show.
Yeah.
Remember
Anyway.
when Rico and Darth were on and we reviewed the first episode?
So to
That was awesome.
Yeah. So to the viewers, if you want us to have a podcast that reviews the Golden Girls, let us know
Ryan's
in the
like,
comments.
Ryan's like, another podcast? Ugh.
I mean,
Let us know in the comments below.
it seems like a lot of fun, and I would love to do it, but
Let us know in the comments, but then also give us a
Please
lot of
don't.
money so that we can do it. So-
Yeah.
and a lot of likes, and share this video, and make sure you and your friends subscribe, and let us know what you'd like us to review, as well as the Golden Girls. WTF, All in the Family. That sounds terrible.
You know,
Anyway,
WTF, empty
you, want,
nest.
you want to talk about a show?
Golden
Oh,
Palace.
yeah.
Golden Palace.
Sounds kind of dirty. I don't know.
Yeah, I was thinking that too, but I didn't want to. I wanted to leave that
Yeah,
alone.
you don't want to go there.
Let's move on. Move along home, and we want to thank Darth Schuhe for joining us and for being so cool and funny,
Yeah.
and for never eating food.
How's this guy
Always-
pudgy? He doesn't eat anything.
Always
'cause he
drinking
was-
coffee.
That's because he was running to the bathroom to get rid of it.
And thank you to Rico E. Anderson for being funny and also funny.
Wow.
But also, I want to point out, funny.
Hey.
Yeah, not only is Rico funny, but he's also, well, yeah, he's funny.
But would you watch my
Mostly.
second episode?
Oh, yeah. But you need better writers, but otherwise.
Okay, well, you know.
You know.
All
You
right.
had to pick from the crop there.
It's a
Hey,
decent
guys.
cast, yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
Appreciate you.
Now,
Appreciate
the
you.
last thing we have to say is that this podcast was memorable, not just because of the friends we made along the way that we've known for a long time, but because we reviewed possibly the best first episode that we've
Yeah.
ever reviewed,
Yeah.
and it made me
Ever.
very happy.
This podcast was a friend and a confidant.
This
Rico?
Darth?
This episode was an enjoyable 20 minutes. I don't know. No, it was a great show.
After editing. This episode makes you want to invite everyone you knew.
You would see the biggest gift would be from me.
And the cold text was there. All right.
Thank you for. That's the only part
Text
I know.
sings the Golden Girls theme song. Oh, you know what? It was a wonderful feel good, and it's always wonderful.
I love wonderful feel goods.
It feels good.
So we got to close out. We got to say goodbye. We got to move on. Everybody stay tuned next week when we review.
Some
Well, I
other
guess-
show.
That's up to you
Something.
guys to decide what we review
Whatever it
next
is.
week. Let us know. And before we go, just always remember what Michael Kenyon Rosenberg always likes to teach us.
Don't forget to watch the first of the Golden Girls. If you haven't done it, seriously, do it.
Reals.
That's what he always says.